Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. It's Saturday today, so it's my time. I'm doing my own things. And I'm back on the little boy's little cardigan that I was doing. I'm doing this to the 22-inch size. I've got the sunshines keep coming and going outside again. Every time the sun shines, it brightens up my video. Brightens it up just that little bit too much. But anyway, I have sat this morning and I made one of these hairbands. You know, the hairbands on this pattern? Yeah. I have been putting things on my shop on eBay now, and I put one of these up a few days ago. Pink one. The one I did one for my granddaughter, but it took me 2 attempts to make one for her because the first one came out too small. So I put it up for on eBay for a child, and I sold it for £4. A lady in Scotland, Glasgow, I think, bought it. So that was one sale on there. So I put this one up this morning, another one for £4, and this one I was attempting another adult one again, but it came out. I tried it on my head, and it does stretch a little bit on my head. So I've made it for a child from about 8-year-old, probably up to about 13. It would do for an adult, but I think it did stretch a little bit more than the one I have, my own that I do use. So I'll put that up. That one's up on eBay anyway. And I have finished Claudette's cardigan. And I'm going to show how I've done a little bit of a tutorial to show how I put the button bands on these, because this is done, the button bands is done sideways. I wish that sun would go away. It's just keep brightening up my screen every time I move. So they're done sideways. So I'm going to show how I do these, a little bit of a tutorial. One of my hairs there. So I'll be back after I show the bit of the tutorial. And this is the red cardigan I'm knitting for Claudette. I'll just have to put the bands on the front. I think it's just about the right size. Let me measure. These ends are curled in here, so I have to put the bands on first, but it does measure almost 24, which will make it 47 to 48 inches. So I'm happy about that. And now I'm going to show how I do these. I have to pick up the stitches all down these two fronts here for the button band and the buttonhole band. And as this cardigan is a lot shorter than the one on the pattern, I'm going to have to work this out for myself. But I would have worked it out even if I'd done it the same length as the cardigan on the pattern. I would have still worked out the number of stitches I have to put in, because I don't like what number of stitches they tell me. I like to work it out for myself. So I measure the front. That's what I have to put I always put the button band on first, and then I work out the other side for the work out where to put the buttonholes. So I start from the top, measure the top, and it's 20 inches from the top of the neckband down to the bottom. So I put markers in every 2 inches. These little stitch markers. So I measure from the front. I have to mark them out on there. I think I need a few more of these for larger sizes. I have enough for small sizes, but I can only do one side at a time. So I put another one in 2 inches. It's just a rough estimate. My tape measure fell on the floor again. And I'm having to do this on my bench in the kitchen because I've tried to put it in my ring light and try to hang the you know, the long stretchy thing from the other thing I use. Try to hang it from the ring light onto the floor because that was where it was easier to do it. But the thing that's hanging from the ring light just would not stay up and it kept tipping the ring light over. So I'm having to do this on my bench to show you. So I have done another 2 inches. It's just a rough guess because this is curling in the thing and it is a bit awkward to see where the exact edge is. That was how I couldn't measure it properly because of it curling in. The other cardigan I did like this for Claudette was a lot, the wool, the Aran wool was a lot stiffer and it didn't curl in like this. So I'll go another 2 inches there. My tape measure keeps dropping on the floor every time I let go of it. I'll pick it up again. Keep it up there so it doesn't fall. Another 2 inches down here. I'll measure all these marker things after I put them into, and I've just broke one. That's another one away. Just measure that again. These ones, they break very easy when you have to pull them apart to either get them in, or I have some other ones. I think I'll probably have to get them ones out to use a bit better. Ones where you don't have to pull them apart or fasten them. They're like in a round circle and you just push them up through the little slit. Another one, 2 inches. Another one. So there should be 10 spaces, including the 2 end ones. I think it's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11. I'll probably have to work those out a little bit. I've got one extra space, 2-inch space, which will make it 22 inches. So I think I'll have to measure that 2 inches. 2 inches. Yeah, I'll have to move those little markers around a little bit because I only want it to be 20 inches, not 22 inches. But that's how I do it, and I work out how many stitches I'm picking up between each set of markers, and it's 20, and if this should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So there should only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 spaces. So I have to work out 4.5 stitches to the inch and how many stitches there is in 20 inches, and then work out the depth between the spaces, how many stitches is, and divide that by 10 for the spaces. And that's how I'll be doing the bands, but I will come back when I get that far. Well, that's the band done on one side. Just need to do the one on the other side. And as you can see, it's nice and straight, no lumps or bumps where there's too many stitches in one place and not enough in another. That is why I always put the markers and measure the space in between the markers. And then when I come to do the other one, I will knit so many rows, and then I have marked from the side where I'm going to put the buttons. I'll have it marked on each spot. And then I will put the buttonholes in, so I'll know exactly where the buttonholes are going. And this, I think it's hard to tell because I still have the other band to do. But it does say at least 23 inches, so I'm going to send this to Claudette anyway and let her try it, and just in case if it doesn't fit, she can send it back to me and I'll sell it elsewhere. But I'm not sure whether the other one I did actually came out 48 inches. I'm not certain now, I can't remember. But this one does look as big as what the other one was, so it's quite possible that it'll be okay. But anyway, that's enough of that. I'm going to get back to picking the stitches up for the other side now and putting the band on. And I really prefer to knit the bands up that way like that, because when you do them this way, you tend to, you know, they're slacker than what the other ones are. I don't really like bands, and they're all right on children, small children's ones, but I don't like bands like that on adult ones. But this is what the pattern said, now I'm doing what the pattern said. So get back. Well, it's completely finished. And it is actually 47 inches. So I'll be posting this off to Claudette on Monday. And I hope that little tutorial was helpful to anyone who might be putting button bands on by picking the stitches up on the fronts. That's the way I've always done it, and it makes the bands more even, because I have tried when I first started doing things like that, was picking the stitches up, and sometimes you had more stitches up one end and not enough down the other end, and that's why I found it was better to measure it and work it out that way, which is what I do. But I have one or two little bits of information. I don't know how many of my subscribers might be using Etsy to sell things, but Etsy are putting their prices up that they charge people for. They charge 5% at the moment, plus a lot of other little bits and pieces, because you do pay VAT on that 5% and VAT on your card transactions at things like that. But they are putting their price up from 5% to 6.5%, which is, I've taken everything off Etsy and I've put it onto eBay. I have had 3 sales since I've changed to eBay, and I worked out that how much it actually costs me when I sell something, and it worked out exactly the same as what I was paying Etsy. One good thing about eBay, we have to pay for a listing on Etsy. for everything you're selling. You can put photographs up and that, but it was costing 18 pence on Etsy, and you had to pay that whether you sold anything or not. It had to be paid for. But on eBay, they charge a bit more. They charge 30 pence, but you don't have to pay it until you've actually sold anything. So there must be one or two little things they don't charge as much as Etsy, because the charge with that 30 pence on came exactly the same as what I would have paid if I had that on Etsy. So that's a little bit better on eBay. And as you probably all know, the reason I changed from Etsy to eBay was because Etsy was going to keep 75% of every single sale that I had for 45 days. If I sold one thing, they would keep 75% and give me 25%. And they were doing that in case there was any disputes with anybody wanting refunds or anything like that, where they were making sure they had money in their accounts to pay people back and that. And this was going to be on my account for 90 days and then it would be taken off. So I've just taken everything off Etsy. There's no way are they taking 75% of all my sales. If anyone needs a refund, I can give it to them myself. I do not need Etsy to do that for me. But I will check. I've kept the account open, but I will check after the 90 days to see whether it goes off. But I think because of them putting the price up to 6.5%, I probably won't be using them again. But I've left the account open anyway until it's all sorted, and I'll see how it goes on eBay. I know that one of my sales on eBay was Sue, who used to buy a lot of things from me on Etsy. But the other two, I think, are just anybody who's been looking. Well, the lady in Glasgow actually messaged me, and that's how I found out who she was, and that she was in Glasgow. Well, I have that for the address anyway to send the thing to. So I know there's at least a couple that aren't off YouTube. So that's just my little bit for today. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch up with you and update you on any other information I have next time. So bye for now.